be thirst. That's kind of weird. And he's like, what would your greatest weakness be, Dad? And I was like, redheads and big titty goth girls. They get me every time, buddy. That's definitely Dad's kryptonite. He's like, Dad, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, good, about 10 years it'll be crystal clear, dude. And I'm also married. We've been married, this August will be 17 years. And like it. Yeah, she's been through everything with me, man. Baby, everything. And on the 16th wedding anniversary, I had a friend hit me up and he's like, dude, what's the secret to making it to 16 years? And I was like, well, the biggest thing is you can't lie to each other. You know, that's something you can't recover from. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I haven't stretched the truth in 17 years. You know, I was like, how many beers you had tonight? Oh, 2 or 20, you pick a number, we'll just start the fight from there. I got shit to do tomorrow, man. But you can't lie to each other. Like on our anniversary, she asked me, she's like, do you still think I'm pretty? And I looked at her, I was like, baby, you're as gorgeous as the day we met. And she said, do you still think I'm nice? Yeah. Baby, you're as gorgeous as the day we met. Well, I turned 17 years. I ain't even started now, y'all. But we have 3 kids. They're 10, 9, and 7. And we tried for a long time to have kids, and it just didn't happen. We went to all the doctors, had all the testing done, some of the most embarrassing tests you can possibly imagine, man. But for some reason, it never happened, so we ended up adopting. And we did 1 private adoption, and we did 2 adoptions through CPS, and 2 CPS adoptions. We did those at the same time. And here's the thing, if anyone here's ever thought about adopting, I'll give you a little advice, because the private adoption was about $7,000 altogether. The 2 kids at the same time through CPS came to $250 out of pocket. They cover everything. So if you are thinking of adopting, just keep in mind, it is so much cheaper to buy kids in bulk through the state. It really is, man. The open market's bullshit. It really is, And here's the thing, it's not like you get a knockoff kid or anything. The clearance kids are assholes just like the full price one. They're the same kind of kid. And there's other perks for going through CPS too. Like if, like with the private adoption, we're responsible for the insurance and the dental her whole life basically. With the CPS, they cover it until they're 18. So the kid comes with a warranty too. You can't get the tail, man. We can't. You know, the first time I ran that joke by my wife, she's like, I don't like that joke at all. I really don't want you joking about the adoptions. I was like, okay, babe, first of all, they're just jokes. Okay, that's what I do. And second of all, I absolutely love our little Groupons. That's 2 for whatever. You know? Oh, man. She gets me back too, man. She's a savage with her comebacks, man. I told her I wanted to get a new gun. She's like, why do you need a new gun? I was like, because I'm from Texas and it's Tuesday. I don't know what else to tell you. I know, man. And see, when I got my CHL, I got it when I got out of the Navy. So the picture looks a lot different than it does now, you know? And so I went to the Bass Pro Shop. I gave the guy my CHL. He looks at it, looks at me, looks at it, looks at me again, then he goes and runs it and everything checks out. It's good to go. But it kind of annoyed me. And so when I got home, I told my wife about it. And she said, well, he's kind of in the same boat that I'm in. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, just like that picture, when I married you, you were clean cut and clean shaven. And now you look like Forrest Gump after you've been running for 3 months. You're right. You got me on that one, man. You did. But I love having kids, man. It's a blast, man. My son, he wants to do guy things all the time. He's all about, he wants to go shoot the guns. He wants to do all that stuff. And I'm not ready yet. You know, they're not ready for it. My kids, I just don't think they're old enough yet. I don't trust them. But I have noticed that Nerf guns, I can teach them gun safety without having to worry about it, you know? Like the little things, like keep the finger up trigger till they're ready to shoot. Always assume there's a round in the chamber. Don't shoot your sister in the fucking face when you're mad at her. You know? Little things, I mean, really important later. You know? But when he messes up with the guns, I gotta take him away and be the bad guy, you know? And whenever I do that, he just turns into this little 7-year-old Second Amendment nut storming up the stairs of fucking liberals always taking my goddamn guns. It's the cutest thing ever. It really is. And I told my wife, I was like, you know, it's just a matter of time before I reach for that gun. And he's like, you're not my Nerf gun when you pry from my cold dead hand, you fucking hippie. And I'm like, oh, dude, what the hell? little dude's gonna be building Lego walls around the property line to keep the bad Pokemon out. Catch him wearing a red hat says make recess great again or some shit. It's scary. The thing in our house though is I'm trapped with as far as TV goes, you know, because my wife is a Disney fanatic, and all three of my kids are Disney fanatics. So it's just Disney all the time at my house, right? And I complain about being a Disney dad, but I earned my stripes as a Disney dad because my girls were 5 and 4 when Frozen came out. And I hear a couple of guys that know what I'm talking about. You know, if y'all don't know, Frozen is a Disney dad's 9/11. That's when the world changed, man. Never forget. Man, I remember telling my wife once, if I could let it go one more time, I'm letting a 9mm around her right through the roof of my body. I swear to God, I'm so sick of this movie. Here's the thing, though, I get in trouble all the time because I grew up watching Mystery Science Theater. I don't know if anybody here's watched that, but you know, it's a great show. They just riff on bad movies all day. And so if I grew up watching that, so I just do it naturally. And we were watching Beauty and the Beast for the 300,000th time recently, and a little bit into the movie, I paused it, and I was like, you know what? Every time that I've seen this, I've thought to myself, I've heard this story somewhere before, and I could never place where it was. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, think about this. If Belle was addicted to crystal meth and she was chained up in a trailer park in Florida, y'all know where I'm going with this, don't you? This movie called Black Snake Moan. It's the exact same movie. It's the same movie, man. They got in both movies. Scary guy kidnaps a white girl, holds her against her will. They become friends in the end, and nobody goes to jail. One's just animated. That's the only difference in the movies. So she gets plagued, and cuts me a look, you know. A little later, I pause it again. I'm like, you know, the catch to this movie doesn't make sense either. She's like, what now? And I was like, the catch. You know, the catch is everything talks, right? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Have you ever listened to him in a logical sense instead of a fairy tale sense? And she said, no. And I was like, okay, think about this. There's a scene in there where the candlestick locks Belle in the room against her will, which is a felony, by the way. But we'll get to that here in a second. But he locks Belle in the room against her will, and he says to the beast, are you sure this isn't the one that could break the curse? And I asked her, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? How many women have there been? Where are these women? What happened to these women? You know, I need some answers. Like, is there a mass grave behind this castle that nobody ever talks about? You know, because I want some answers. And see, the thing is, you're not going to get the answers from the clock and the candlestick. They're in on it. They're not going to rat each other out, you know? If you want the answers, you're going to have to go down to the tool shed and find the gardener that was turning the dancing shovel, because he knows where the bodies are buried, you know? Weird as shit, he opened up that door and you got the shovel jump out. He's all, lay to rest, lay to rest. We just stabbed them in the chest and buried them out back with all the rest. Yeah, freak the fuck out, wouldn't it? What the hell was that? We need Disney CSI, Disney SVU, all them down here now. There's some weird shit going on down here. And at that point, she's pretty pissed at me. She just kind of stares at me, starts the movie again. But then when the movie ended, I said, you know, the whole moral of this movie never made sense to me either. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, every Disney movie has a moral, right? And this one is don't be an asshole to strangers, because the prince was an asshole to a stranger. So he got turned into the beast, and now he's got to become a good person in order to be turned into a human again. And apparently Disney thinks he did that. But let's go back and look at what this dude did in this movie. You know, because first of all, he kidnapped the dad. Then he kidnapped Belle. Then he traded the dad for Belle. Then he holds Belle against her will. There are 2 homicides on his property in this movie that nobody ever talks about. And not to mention the mass grave we talked about earlier. So if you're keeping score, we got kidnapping, human trafficking, false imprisonment, 2 homicides, and an entire graveyard of Disney princesses nobody ever heard of because they didn't make the fucking cut. So, I don't know what Disney's trying to teach your kids here. This guy's not a hero, he's a psychopath. He is, you know, he doesn't get the girl in the end, he gets the death penalty. That's just how it works in the real world, you know? He said they're staring at me and she's like, you're never allowed to watch a Disney movie with us ever again. He's ruined my whole childhood. I was like, that's too bad because I got a whole theory on Little Mermaid too.
Nope.
What could you possibly say about Ariel? I was like, that one's easy. If Disney princesses were real, Ariel would be the first one to have an OnlyFans page. She would. Think about it. Think about it. That entire movie is about disappointing your dad so you can get some dick. She's made for that site. Like, made for her, man. Like, she'd have some weird name like Clamshell Titties, you know, and he's singing about dildos and butt plugs, but she'd be there. I guarantee it. And that's what she told me I'm not allowed to go to Disneyland either. She's worried I'm going to get us all arrested. So, y'all, I've been Shannon Muggard. Y'all ready for the next comedy guy?